Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the N.G.L.A podcast. Today, man, we're going to talk about a few things, but before we start, man, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. I do appreciate everybody who has been subscribing and liking the videos. It's definitely going up. You know, it's slow, but I'd rather it's slow than not at all. So I truly do appreciate it, because without y'all, I have no channel, and I just appreciate it. So today, man, we're going to talk about Dr.Umar Johnson and the host from Saints and Center, Marquett Davon. He makes an offer to Dr. Umar that I think is a good one, and he should take it. And then we're going to end it with, it's going to be a short one today. We're going to end it with Trump and the meeting he had with Zelensky. You know, he recently just had the meeting with Vladimir Putin. Now he just had Zelensky come to the White House, had a meeting with him. So we're gonna drop in and see what they was talking about. So let's get into it. Let's pull this back up. All right.
Wilmington put a notice on the door handle of both of our schools, informing me that if we don't pay the past due vacant property registration fees, they will sell our campus.
My understanding is that Dr. Umar owes approximately $38,000 US dollars. I will write the check for, $40,000 or so, however many dollars it is, in exchange for control of one of those buildings. There would be nothing worse than you missing the opportunity that I'm offering for us to save your project, save the valuable dollars donated by the people who support you. And if you don't take my offer, and you allow the school to go to the hands of those you would consider the enemy, this will be probably the end of your social media career and your ability to raise capital. So I just want it to be known to the public, and please do share this because it's sincere. Don't miss this opportunity. You have a chance to save your school.
The city of Wilmington put a notice.
So that was Marquett Davon. And he made an offer to Dr. Umar, basically saying, look, I'll pay in full this whole debt that you owe, right? To save your project, to save the schools, and to not let it get into the hands of the so-called enemies that, you say are trying to take your school or however that goes. But I think it's a great offer. I mean, who's going to do that? Let's be honest. Anybody that does things like that is going to say they're going to basically just pay you out and take control of the buildings. He's saying, not only will I pay the whole thing in full, I'm going to let you keep one of the buildings so you can still continue the project that you say you're going to continue. I think it's dope. And like he said, and you could tell, he's genuine. He's being genuine about it. This ain't a joke. This ain't him trolling or nothing. He's saying, look, I'm going to help you out. Even though I feel the way I feel about you. And, I want to look more into comments that he made about Dr. Umar because, it's going to be a pride thing with Dr. Umar. It's going to be on some like, I don't know. I don't think, I have a feeling he's going to be stupid and not take it. And, it's going to hurt him. Like he said, and he said, look, don't let your pride get in the way of you taking advantage of this opportunity of me helping you. And that's dope. That's dope, man. You know what I'm saying? It's another man trying to help you, even though he may feel certain ways about you. Because I showed the clip of him saying that, basically referencing Dr. Umar saying that he never asked nobody for a dime, but yet, he got numerous videos of saying, where the Cash Apps at? Where the Cash Apps at? Maybe the Cash App messed up. because I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing going on. Like, basically begging. But even in that video, you could tell it was coming from a place of saying, like, dude, like, you've been saying this for 15 years. And at one point, I actually donated out of my little check to your cause because I thought you were doing something great. But it's looking like that's not the case. So if I was Dr. Umar, I would jump on this. And on top of that, I would make some changes. You know what I'm saying? I will make some changes. Whatever he is doing, right? He's not doing what he says he's going to do, because if he was, it wouldn't be taking so long to get this project up off the ground, bro. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to tell me a person like Dr. Umar Johnson is not in some type of networking with other activists such as himself, churches, and, just that type of, sphere of people. You're not going to tell me he's not. So, I'm pretty sure he has got the money tenfold to be able to open these schools, but he's been doing God knows what with the money, and that's the reason why it's not opening. It's not because of contractors and this and that, but who knows? Because, I've seen people, not just black people, but I've seen people, who buy properties and things like that, and they slumlords, and they, treat their tenants like shit. They treat the cribs like shit. They do the least amount of work expecting, but they want that rent money. When that rent due, they want that rent. But, let something go. I've dealt with that, privileged to the place I'm in now, and ended up breaking the contract with them. But it is what it is. Some people are just like that, But hopefully Dr. Umar takes this, man, because, hey, that sounds like a great deal. And this is a brother who seems like he's going to basically open the school up. He was a school teacher. So I can see him finishing the school, getting it together, opening it up, enrolling students, and making something out of it. So that'd be dope, too, just to see that, Because I love seeing shit like that, That's dope as hell. But let's get into this video with Zelensky and Donald Trump. Let's see what they was talking about.
Thank you, and using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, abducted children, and my wife, First Lady of Ukraine. She gave the letter. It's not to you, to your wife.
Oh, I want it.
Yeah. So we are saying this sensitive topic. Yes, please. And thanks to our partners, and that you supported this format. That after our meeting we can have leaders who are around us, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, EU, NATO. I mean, all partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks to them. Thank you very much for invitation.
Thank you very much for being here.
President Trump.
Video is a little blurry.
Yes, Peter.
Thank you, President Trump. So, President Zelensky, you say in a post on X today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelensky of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Which is it?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed, and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed last week. A lot of people last week. I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week for whatever reason. A big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And as you met with Putin on Friday, today you've got President Zelensky here. as you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards?
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be, look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war.
Hey, yo, do you see the questions? Like, it's to stir shit up. It's to make Zelensky feel some type of way, or to make Zelensky feel like Donald Trump is choosing sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that matters. At the end of the day, everybody knows that Donald Trump is, he brought Putin down here. He's about to even go to, I believe, Moscow. He's going out to Russia, somewhere out there, to meet with Vladimir Putin again. And he's having this meeting with Zelensky. And basically his goal is just to stop the war. That's the simplest way to put it. You know what I mean? And they ask these stupid ass questions, bro. That's why these reporters are just not good reporters, man. Like, you asking a stupid question. Like, who has the better cards? What does it matter who has the better cards? It's about making a deal, you know, and stopping the war. Just plain and simple. Like, these people, yo, they kill me.
War.
The questions
He's the one that,
are ridiculous.
Had a lot to do with this happening, and we want to get it ended. And we want it to end good for everybody. We want it to end good. The people of Ukraine have suffered incredibly.
And to that point, President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, you know, we live under each day attacks. You know that today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead, small one year and a half. So we need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners, and we will do our best for this. So, and I think we show that we are strong people. And
I just think that Zelensky is dealing with pride. I think his whole thing is that he hates Russia so much. Like, he hates these people so much. And he hates the fact that Donald Trump is trying to convince him to stop going to war with Russia. You know what I mean? Because basically, Ukraine is losing. They're not winning. You know what I mean? So, and from the little bit of information that I do know, they had already lost territory to Russia. So it's basically, that's why he said, are you ready to redraw the map, or whatever the case may be. So that's basically saying, are you willing to give up the territory that you already lost and say, you know, let's just bygones be bygones. And I fuck with that question that they asked, basically saying, are you ready to, you know, are you going to keep basically getting people killed? You know, because that puts him on a, you know, on a hot seat, because it's just the truth. You killing a lot of people. Yo, they were literally, I seen videos of them literally kidnapping men. Like, they literally were kidnapping men off the street to basically force them into war. And that's that. People like Zelensky will, they're going to have a tough time, bro, because that's not cool, man. You know, that's not cool at all. Like, because people don't be having nothing to do with these little fake beefs and wars that's going on, because motherfuckers want to try out their new weapons and shit, you know? So it's a lot of people getting killed that never even thought about going to war, let alone being forced to. So this little nigga right here, who ain't out on the battlefield, who ain't getting, you know, who ain't in the middle with nothing, ain't got no guns, ain't busting no shit, no nothing, him nor Putin, even American presidents and all that, they ain't out there on the front lines like back in the day, like George Washington and them. Like, nah, these motherfuckers is in the White House and the war rooms and all of this shit, while young people is out there losing their lives. And this dude, I could tell he doesn't want to stop. You can tell by his body language.
Of personnel of President Trump to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war, and we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good. Thank you.
Mr. President. If the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine, we're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long-term. This is very long-term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia, we're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it.
Your team has talked about security guarantees. Could that involve U.S. troops? Would you roll that out in the future?
We'll let you know that maybe later today. We're meeting with 7 great leaders of great countries also, and we'll be talking about that. They'll all be involved, but there'll be a lot of help. When it comes to security, there's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe. But we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Mr. President, Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time. But they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan. We're talking about the big places. When you look at, you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved also. I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
Thank
you, Mr. President. Can you tell us about your conversations with European leaders and what they need to see to support an end to the war?
Yeah, well, we're going to be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine and friends of yours. And we're going to have some suggestions made. They want to see peace. They would like to see peace.
President
In the red.
President Trump, do you think it's fair to, for Ukraine and for Russia to achieve a lasting and durable peace if Ukraine cedes its territories that Russia hasn't yet conquered? Do you think it's a fair peace for Ukraine?
We're going to have a lasting peace. Just to answer the first part of your question, we're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
Mr. President, you posted on social media, Mr. President, a very touching letter from the First Lady. And the letter was hand-delivered to President Putin. And it calls for an end to the war, essentially, because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believes that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelensky?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children, and she hates to see something like this happening. And that goes for other wars too. I mean, she sees the heartbreak, the parents, the funerals that you see on television. Always funerals. We want to see something other than funerals. No, she felt. It was a beautiful letter. It was very well received by him. And she did ask me to say, you know, she would love to see this end. She would love to see it end. And she says it very openly, very proudly, and with great sorrow because so many people have been killed.
Like, I just really dislike like the line of questioning that they be asking because it's simple. His wife wrote a letter basically saying, yo, we need to stop the war for the sake of the children. Like, it's just simple. It's just simple. But they try to make it like, they try to get deep with the shit. Like it's something bigger than that. You're like, it's stupid, bro. These people are fucking.
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
I can't believe
I've got a question for each of you. First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good on
I
you.
said the one that attacked you last time. See, now he's
I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed, you are not.
Maybe yours is much better. Real quickly, upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances and a little bit we need to work in the parliament because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need.
That's why his ass want to keep the war going. You know what I mean? Because he says during war we can't have elections. So that means he gets to stay the president. He knows if they have an election, a legit election, not no 2020 Joe Biden election, but if they have a legit election in Ukraine, his ass is going to be up out of there. And a lot of these people, bro, they get in these positions and it's all about just milking the cow, bro. And that's just all it boils down to.
Maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal.
It's always
legal
these little
elections.
motherfuckers
So
too.
you
that just
say
wanna
during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake
You like
news
this
is
idea?
gonna say.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of news, I got a question for you. This sounds insane for me even to ask
That's
this.
funny.
But do you think the American media really doesn't even want a
They
peace
will
deal?
definitely
because
spin
they've
that.
seen they've been so critical.
I'd be like, oh, Donald Trump says that he's going to start a war so it won't be no more elections. Like, I can see them saying that, bro. Like, real shit.
You every step of the way as you lead the charge for peace.
It's an amazing phenomenon. I said that if in the settlement you got Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say, I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here. We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say.
Mm-hmm.
But, in solving all of these wars, they don't
Trump
even
is
write
not
about
a
it.
dumb
I saw
motherfucker, bro.
major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones. One that was going to go into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know what the one I'm talking about? It was a big one. But they don't even write about that. No matter what I do, no matter what, and this is not anything to do with you. It's probably to your advantage in a certain way. But no matter what I do, no matter what deal I make, from my standpoint, you'll come out good. Maybe President Putin will come out good. But they'll say, Trump was absolutely horrible. It's just that, and I've lived with that for a long time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand. They're the only ones that count, ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for Donald Trump. No, it was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said, but they said it. Now, if he didn't come, they'd say that was also bad for Trump. There's no way. And there's just a great dishonesty of the press, and I think that's why it's lost its credibility. Its credibility is at an all-time low. We have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out to dinner last night for the first time in 4 years. And Washington, D.C. is safe. And you did that in 4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend of mine, he has a son who's a great golfer, he's on tour, and he came in 4th yesterday in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot. And he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way, no way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a dictator, he's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for our people. But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington, D.C. in 2 years are going out to dinner. And the restaurants the last 2 days were busier than they've been in a long time. Thank
Sir,
you.
I walked around yesterday with MTG. If you could walk around with D.C. with MTG and not be attacked, the city is safe.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week you warned of what you called severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I
your
don't
meeting
think you
with
need a
President Putin?
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept, you know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
Are you
President Zelensky,
Can you explain the decision to offer Ukraine Article 5 like security guarantees, but stop short of pushing for their full membership?
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything on that yet. If you look back and you go back long before President Putin, it was always a statement that they would never allow Ukraine into NATO. So that was a statement that was made, but we haven't discussed any of that yet. We're going to be discussing it today, but we will give them very good protection, very good security. That's part of it. And the people that are waiting for us, they are, I think they're very like-minded. They want to help out also.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President Trump.
Are you disappointed there's no ceasefire, Mr. President?
The United States has already given hundreds of billions of dollars to this war effort in Ukraine. At best, it is a stalemate, and the killing continues. So, President Trump, how much more is the United States willing to give Ukraine? And President Zelensky, how much more do you want?
Well, I'll start off just by saying we're not giving anything now. We're selling weapons. This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man, never was. By the way, go back 40 years, he was not a smart man 40 years ago either, but now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt administration that shouldn't have been in, and frankly, if the right results of the election were given, if I were president, this war would have never taken place, and he would have been very happy, because he would have liked to have seen. I mean, they went through hell. He went through hell. This war would have never happened, and the people that were killed, a couple of million people, a lot of people with soldiers and everything else, and the people that have been displaced and forced into other areas and other countries because of what's happened, none of that would have happened. And I'm just saying that he was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this. He was just a horrible, corrupt president.
Mr. President,
you want to
I can. Thank you so much. So first of all, we have possibility now to buy weapons from the United States. We are thankful for this program and this opportunity. We are thankful for Europe. They pay for this. And through NATO program, for example, Pearl and etc., we have some programs where we can have some money to finance this. And this is a part, I think, it's not a part for the war and to defend us. It also will be a part for security guarantees, to strengthen our army, to rearm Ukrainian army. This is very, very important. And it depends how much money we need to rearm. For example, the question of air defense, we spoke about it with President Trump, and I'm happy that we have now bilateral decisions and we work on it with production, American production. Nobody in Europe has so many air defense like Patriots, for example. We need it very much, and this is also about defending.
I think the good news, we make the best military equipment in the world by far. You mentioned the Patriots. How good are they?
Systems.
We have systems, they're literally 100% foolproof. And it's really like shooting two bullets, two bullets hitting each other in the air in a space like this. The chance is 100%. It's 99 to 100%. So we sell the equipment to NATO. And NATO does what, I don't know what the arrangement is that you have with, but I know that they want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment in the world, but they pay us for the equipment. Under Biden, it was just crazy what was going on. I believe the number is over 300. I think it could be $350 billion worth of equipment and money and everything else. And we've made more progress in settling this war in the last 2 months than they made in 4 years. This should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened. Yeah, please.
Real quickly, you pushed out on social media.
All right, Brian, go first.
You pushed out on social media about.
So real quick, I paused. I went off the screen because I was looking at something because they had they had like a commission type of meeting with all of the leaders from Germany, I guess the EU, Donald Trump was there. It was a bunch of them, maybe France. It was like, I think 7 different leaders from different countries. And basically the meeting was basically about ending this whole war and basically NATO putting up money, I guess, like he just referenced security guarantees, or whatever the case may be. So they all coming to the table to basically give Zelensky what he wants, so that way he could basically agree to a ceasefire and stopping the war. And maybe I'll play it tomorrow because I'll play the whole video tomorrow because I want to look at it a little more. But basically the leader from Germany was saying that he can't imagine that in the next meeting that they have, that this is still going on, basically. Like, basically, they came to the table, and it's some agreements that have already been made of security guarantees for Ukraine, and this whole thing should just be nipped in the bud. And they saying that it should be a ceasefire immediately. So I'm assuming that meeting happened after this one right here that I'm showing.
Doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that and how important
Well, that's a very off-topic, just really quickly. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots. And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections. We'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're going to have the results in 2 weeks. With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time in this, but I'm glad you asked me that question.
Sorry.
We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. You know, when you go to a voting booth and you do it the right way and you go to a state that runs it properly, you go in, they even ask me, they asked me for my license plate, for identity. I said, I don't know if I have it. They said, sir, you have to have it. I was very impressed, actually. But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them. Now, we got to stop mail-in voting, and the Republicans have to lead the charge. The Democrats want it because they have horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a country. I said for a long time at rallies, you need borders and you need free and fair elections. Those two things, otherwise you don't have. We have strong borders now. In 90 days, Mr. President, we didn't have 1, 0, 0, and 3 months. Not one person came in illegally into our country. In fact, even I find that hard to believe, but it's run by a little bit of a liberal group that put out the numbers, so I guess it's, but 0, 0, and 0. You go back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3, millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
What security guarantees do you need from President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
Everything. And really, it includes two parts. First, strong Ukrainian army. That's what I began to discuss with your colleagues. And it's a lot about weapon and then people and training missions and intelligence. And second, we will discuss with our partners. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
And Mr. President, are you going to commit American troops to that NATO-like?
So real quick, I just want to give some details. So they said the mail-in ballot thing been going on since the Civil War, but it was mainly used for, like, if you were you had to have a specific reason, like being away or ill. Like if you were sick on election day, they would let you do a mail-in ballot. But it says, in essence, while mail-in voting has a long history, its widespread use has increased significantly in recent decades, particularly around, guess what year? 2020 election. Ain't that real convenient, people? Ain't that, that's crazy.
Protection in order to get President Zelensky to a deal today?
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, I mean, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with that. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to get the deal done.
You've been involved with the peacekeeping in Ukraine since your first day in the administration. What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering?
I just gotta say though, man, this motherfucker right here, this motherfucker Zelensky, dog. This motherfucker is bro, just think about how much money that he got when Joe Biden was in office alone. I gotta look this up. Hold on. I gotta look this up. Cause, wow. It says since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, the United States has provided substantial aid to the country. The total amount allocated, allocated for Ukraine response since 2022. Since 2022, they have given $182 billion to this motherfucker right here, dog. This is this motherfucker, dog. Hold on, man. It says, however, it's important to note that this figure represents the allocated amount, not the amount that has actually been dispersed or spent. As of March 2025, the United States has dispersed $83.4 billion in funding and equipment, some of which Ukraine will have to repay with interest. So, okay. So basically, it's supposed to pay some of that back. Going to the Department of Defense. And, hold on. It says, although the U.S. is the largest individual donor of military aid, European nations have collectively provided a similar level of support between January 2022 and June 2025. European countries and the EU spent $165 billion on Ukraine, while the U.S. spent $130 billion. So, bro, that's $295 billion of aid given to this little midget motherfucker. Like, what? Like, all of that money, bro, for a country that, like, let's be honest, what benefit, when you look at it, does this country, Ukraine, like, what benefits do they have being the United States ally? I don't get it. Like, what is it? Like, I gotta know. Like, I gotta know, bro, because this is crazy. So not only is the United States coughing up billions, we're talking about billions, like big money, bro. Like, that's a lot of money. The EU is also giving this little midget motherfucker money. And now, and Donald Trump just said it, he said, basically, we're basically giving this dude the money because we want the war to end. But just look at him. Just look at his face, man. I gotta put it on the big screen. Just look at him. He just looks like a grimy piece of shit. And he wants the war to continue because he doesn't want to give up being the president, bro. He likes it. He's proud. Man, what? It's no way in the world that $295 billion has been going to just, supporting this so-called war, bro. Hell no. Hell no. I gotta look one more thing up. So it says the U.S. support. So I asked, why is the U.S. allies with Ukraine? It says the U.S. supports Ukraine for a combination of strategic, moral, and economic reasons. Supporting Ukraine aligns with U.S. national security interests by deterring further Russian aggression and upholding international rules-based order. It also demonstrates a commitment to democratic values and human rights. Furthermore, U.S. aid to Ukraine stimulates the American economy by boosting the defense industry's base and creating jobs. The first part sounds about right. The defense industry. That sounds about right. You know what I mean? Because they get to fucking sell them weapons or whatever they're doing, man. But it just doesn't make sense, bro. When you really look at it, it's just like all of this, and it's all taxpayer money. That's what people got, and that's why Trump is trying to end it, because he's like, yo, we're dumping billions and billions of dollars that could be going to other things into this little fucking fucking Napoleon complex looking motherfucker right here. Like, this shit is crazy, bro.
Suffering under the Russian attacks and hoping that the American people will stand with them.
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. I mean, they love their country, and we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Mr. President, was there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's go right on top with you. Let's go, guys. Thank you, press. Let's go. Move. Come on, guys. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, press. Thank you. Keep moving. Thank you, guys. Keep moving quickly. Let's go. Thanks, guys. Keep moving.
Get y'all asses out. Fuckers like roaches. I want to see, they got, we're going to talk about anything else. Let's try to fast forward a little bit. It might be, what's this right? Okay, so this was the meeting. Let me see.
Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's a great.
So I think this was the whole meeting that they had. I want to fast forward. Yeah, okay. So this was the meeting I was talking about.
Children, and I hope that really.
So let's rewind. This was Zelensky's remarks.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And
we'll watch a
spoke
little bit of this
very,
and then we're going to end it.
Sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees, and we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and the security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday, and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives such strong signal and is ready for security guarantees. The second.
When I hear security guarantees, all I think about is just money. So, he talking about security guarantees. Nigga, you want some money, nigga. He like that. He like Dr. Umar. He like Dr. Umar. He the Ukrainian Dr. Umar. Where them cash apps at? That's what he telling Trump. Look at Trump's face. Trump is hot. Trump is mad as hell. Trump would have knocked this nigga. If the purge was happening, Trump would have knocked his shit clean off. Like, look at Trump's face, bro. That nigga hot. He looking at him like, man, I'm tired of this little slick little fucker. Like, fucking milking us for all this money. You gotta understand, Trump, he come from that cutthroat business, like, ain't playing no games. Like, look, we gonna get this deal done, or I'm gonna dump you in this fucking river. He come from that type of time, the mob times. Like, Trump really a gangster on the low. Like, people don't know. Like, Trump probably had a few people touched. Like, he wanna like look at his face. Like, yo, that's the face of a nigga that's like, yo, I'm tired of this nigga, man. Every time this nigga come here, this nigga get some money. Like, yo, look at him, bro. Look at the other dude. He looking at him too. Like, they all looking at this motherfucker like, man, this nigga. This what happen when you make deals with these slick motherfuckers, man. I'm telling you, man. This dude Zelensky has no, like, I believe that, this is my opinion, I believe that he has no intentions on wanting to stop the war. I think that the security guarantees and the money and all of these other different things and everybody coming to the table and basically telling this motherfucker, like, listen, once these transactions happen, this shit better stop because, nigga, I guarantee you, this nigga gonna come up missing if this shit continue. I give it about a good 2 weeks. If it's still going on, they might knock his shit off. Zelensky might come up missing.
Second point, or maybe the first, humanitarian direction, very important to exchange all the prisoners, and I think that President will help, and I was very thankful to your wife again, Mr. President, for the letter about our abducted
y'all glazing,
children,
Melania.
I hope that really
Glazer.
Can
He's
be
a
historic role
glazer.
for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy and
Get the people
families.
back, yeah.
Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important, that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you will
both
participate.
want me there, I will be there.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bringing kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back. And guarantees which will work for the years. We spoke about it, and I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders
That's what I'm
who are
saying,
here,
like,
and you helped a lot.
I just don't think like he really, like, because he's sick. He's sick because basically he's losing this whole war with Putin. And he knows, it's basically like one of the things where it's going to be like, listen, the little map that you motherfucking lost, you're going to have to deal with it type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's probably going to be one of Putin's requirements. Because understand, we not giving weapons and security guarantees to Russia. They not our allies. Right? So that's the only thing that you could give Putin is what he's already conquered, basically. So that's the only thing that I see. And that's what's, you can just tell by his body language, that's what's killing him. Because it's like, it's a defeat to a degree, you know? Like, damn, this motherfucker came and took some of my shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a motherfucker come in your house. You know what I mean? He may have not stole everything, but you know what I mean? Motherfucker stole the safe or some shit. I don't know. Like, but you could just tell, bro. I read body language very well. You could tell. Everybody is sick of this little nigga, right? They sick of this Napoleon fucking complex motherfucker. Because they know he ain't no real warrior. He ain't really with the shits. But they tired of him because he milking them. And that's why they mad. You know what I'm saying? But this is what happens when, you get, this whole NATO thing. And I think that was one of the things, too, that kind of started this whole thing. Was I think Putin said something like he didn't want Ukraine to be part of NATO or something like that. It was something. I don't know. I'm going to look into it.
And so we're happy that we have such big unity today. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
President.
much,
Hosting us.
Mr.
Thank you.
President. I think you'll see that President Putin really would like to do something else. I think when we set that up, when we do, I think it's going to be when, not if. I think you're going to see some really positive moves. I know there's over 1,000 prisoners, and I know they're going to release them. Maybe they're going to release them very soon, like immediately, which I think is great. But we're going to set that up today after this meeting. So very good and great remarks. I appreciate it. Mark, as head of NATO, maybe you could say a few words, please.
Yes, I will be very brief. I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock basically with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call, and from there we are now where we are today. And that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues. It is really crucial. And the fact that you have said I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. Is really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
So basically, they all pretty much going to be saying the same thing. If y'all want to go check this out, y'all can check out this whole press conference. It's on the White House page. But basically, you know, they all want the war to stop, and they basically giving this little nigga what he want for him to stop the war and come to some agreement, you know, exchange prisoners and all of that, you know, hot shit or whatever, man. But, you know, listen, don't forget, man, this ain't Trump's war. It's Joe Biden's war, but we're the one that's paying for it. So people could say all they want. Oh, you know, yes, fucking Ukraine is in Ukraine. It has nothing to do with us. But it does in the sense of we're the ones paying for it. You know? So technically, we do. So it's in the fucking way. I'll tell you that much. But shout out to Donald Trump, man, getting shit done. That's one thing I can say about that nigga, man. That motherfucker get shit done. He don't be playing. Like, he be on some shit like, look, fuck all that tomorrow shit, next week shit. Nah, we getting this shit done now. You know what I'm saying? You see within a week, you got Putin come out here, Zelensky come out here. Now, Friday, he going out there to Putin, and he trying to get this done ASAP. Like, because he feel like it's already been way too long. Like, too long. So, you know, shout out to him for getting shit done. You know, but yeah, man, it's another one. And until tomorrow, man. Yo, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel. This your boy, SL550. This is the N.G.L.A. podcast, man. Until tomorrow, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.